Hello there, welcome to, oops, where's my microphone? Sorry. Things have been crazy here the last 5 minutes. Glad to see you all. Thanks for joining me. My entire audio and video system decided not to work about 8 minutes ago. So I am surprised to be here, but happy that I was able to make it. I only have 2 cameras running. I don't know what's wrong with my computer, but none of them wanted to turn on for some reason. Everything, I didn't change a thing, but that's technology. But hopefully things will go smoothly for our demo. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be doing a fun little waterfall pour with a little variation to it today. I'm going to be using some leftover paints I had from my last members live stream, which are reds and crimsons and blacks. So I'll show you those in a second. And we'll get going. I'm going to be using an old canvas. This is a demo I did a couple weeks ago, which didn't turn out that well. So it dried really dark, and I know why now, and I'll show you that. But we'll reuse that canvas, and let's get going. So let's see here. I've got a 12 by 24 canvas that we're going to be pouring over, and I only have my top camera and this camera staring at you, so we can't look at my side view camera for whatever reason. I have got to figure that out once we're done here. But let's jump over and I'll show you the colors we're going to be using. I haven't even unpacked them yet, but we'll take a look at them and we'll get going with our demo. So let's see here. Just open them all up. And so I'm going to be doing I'll explain it as we go along here. But let's jump over and I'll show you the colors we're going to be working with. Again, these are all just leftover paints I had from my previous live stream for the members. So let's jump over and take a look. Oops, where are we here? So let's go over here. So this is the canvas we're going to be using. It was like a wandering ring pour, but it dried really dark. This is a beautiful deep purple when it was wet, and then I realized after it dried it got super dark because that's a transparent color, and when you have a transparent color over black, it goes really, really dark. So I'm not too happy with it. We have this really bright opaque, bright aqua green here. This is kind of a teal turquoise. This is okay, but it's just not a great painting. So we're going to reuse it. I'm going to set that aside for the moment. So right here we've got some Pyrrole Red. I'll show you what we're going to be working with. My favorite Liquitex Basics Pyrrole Red right here. I've just got some black over here. This is Artist Loft Black. I have got, right over here is some bronze. And then I just added a little bit of copper in there as well. So it's some leftover paint. So kind of a bronzy, coppery color. And this color right here is a crimson from Master's Touch. And it's a beautiful crimson color. This happens to be crimson with a little black in it. So it's a darker version of this color here. This is just regular old Artist Loft Gold. Right over here, that's what we have in this cup. And this is just leftover paints that I scooped up from our last painting and stuck in our cup here. So this is kind of a combination of all of these different colors together. So I might use a little bit of that. We'll see. So those are the colors. Basic color palette. It's a very vibrant, striking, pretty dramatic color palette. But I like to use it. So we're going to try a waterfall pour on this one, and I'm going to be doing a double cup waterfall pour, and then I'm going to be changing the angle of my cups as I pour it down our canvas. We'll see what happens. So first things first, let's layer our cups, and I'm going to set the gold and the copper over here to the side. We're going to be filling 2 cups up, and for a 12 by 24 we need about 9 to 10 ounces. About 9 ounces actually of paint. So I've got, those aren't the cups I'm going to use. These are my little stands that I'm going to use to prop up my canvas. Here are my cups. So we're going to be filling these up. And this cup is going to have all these reds. This cup will have our gold, our bronzish copper, and some black in it. So let's go ahead and layer our cups. I'm going to start with the Pyrrole red. And just put in a little of these other colors, the crimson and this kind of deep crimson here. So this is a fun color palette to play with. We did 3 paintings with all of these colors, and now this is going to be number 4. But I'm excited to see this one. I'm trying something a little different with the double cup pour. So there is, going to use a lot of the Pyrrole red in this one. So there we go. We've got about 4.5 ounces of paint right there. Move these aside. And let's go over to our coppers and golds. I'll start with some gold here. Put in some of this bronzish copper color and then some black as well. Black's going to be our base coat color. So I hope you all had a good week and ready for the weekend. And I had a busy week. It was fun though. Let's see, what am I doing? More gold. That's kind of the rest of the gold out of there, and then a little more copper. There we go. A little bit more black, and I think we got it. That's it. All right, so we got 2 cups. We're going to set these aside. And let me put a base coat on our canvas. I spritzed the back so it's nice and taut again, and we're just going to cover it up. And if you're going to be pouring over old paintings, I recommend waiting about a week or so. A week or 2 is good. This has been dry about 2 weeks. Just make sure it's pretty dry before you repaint over the top of it. So I'm just spreading on a kind of a thin base coat. There we go. That's looking pretty good to me. I might pop some air bubbles here in a sec with the old torch. I think that's pretty good. I'll move that over there. Okay, let's pop some bubbles. Here we go. Let's not ignite our tissue. All right. I like it. That looks good. And I'm going to prop these up, this canvas up here. And I had drawn 2 circles right here for my little cups. This is just it's about a 4-ounce cup. I just want kind of a slight incline. This might actually be a little too much, but we'll find out. Because the paint's got a long way to travel down this canvas. I'm going to move it over. This is set up for my 3rd camera, but that's not functioning. So we'll pull this over here. There we go. And let's see here. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I have my 2 cups here. I'm going to pour out of the, let's see, I'm going to pour out of the opposite side. the last paintings I did, I poured out of the side I layered. I'm going to flip them around. Pour out of the opposite side I layered. And I'm going to start pouring right about here, kind of at the top section. And as I go, I'm going to be kind of turning the cup slowly to kind of change the angle of the stream and the paint coming out, just to alter the design a little bit, just to see what happens. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. I just want that paint to come out at the same speed, and you're not going to see a whole lot until the paint kind of streams down the canvas a little bit. So one thing you can do is kind of put your fingers together. That can help balance your cups. And the paint's starting to stream down the canvas. I'm going to slowly turn. So that's going to change the angle of the paint. And I think I'll turn back. It takes a little dexterity to do this, and then kind of go the opposite way. And go back a little bit. So I'm almost to the end of my cups here. I'm going to turn it back towards me so I can kind of see what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to call that good and kind of grab those cups away quickly. Here we go. So that looks pretty good. I didn't screw up the center too much, I don't think. And so the paint is moving rather slowly because we don't have a real steep incline. Plus this is kind of a longish distance for the paint to travel. So what we can do, I'm just going to increase the incline here. By the way, all these paints are mixed, just 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and it's the thickest consistency I like to use, my number 1 consistency. So, and they've been sitting for 2 days, which can thicken up the paint just slightly. I didn't add any extra water or anything to the paints. So I'm just letting that paint kind of mosey its way on down there. Just taking my time. That looks pretty good, and then I'll just set the canvas down. Move my cups out of the way. Now I'm going to tilt this back a little bit here. Just to move that paint back a little bit towards the center. I kind of like what's happening. We got this dark area up here. That was kind of our starting spot. And then we've got a nice center to our ring pour. So it's a very interesting kind of waterfall pour that we've done. It's different than the typical pattern you would get with just one single cup. You kind of get those wings on the side coming down. I kind of like the variety of shapes and colors we have going on here. So let's go ahead and stretch this out. I'm going to kind of cover the bulk of the canvas first. kind of move the paint around. There we go. I don't want to go off the sides just yet. I'll flip it around here. There we go. So we've covered the bulk of the canvas, bulk of the surface without going over the edges yet. I like what's happening. Time to tilt over our first corner. I'm going to go with this one since we've got a lot of paint right there. Just going to slowly move that paint over. There we go, and back again. Let's move it back. I think I'll go over to this corner next. So I'm just changing the angle of my painting. I put it down all the time, grab it in a different way. With these longer canvases, it's a little different tilting because you have to worry about those sides too. Just since it's such a long, skinny canvas. That looks pretty good. Again, move the paint kind of back. I like it so far. Let's finish those other two sides. I'm going to just hold this kind of straight up and let the paint move a little evenly, more evenly down the canvas. It's kind of got a long way to travel. Here we go. Okay, so let's go to this corner next. That's looking good, and then back again. I'm going to kind of turn it before I move it back. There we go. I'm just letting it kind of flow evenly down the canvas. We have one left. And I'm going to probably try this. If your paint is starting to get a little bit hard to tilt, which it can after the third corner is kind of the trickiest, and we've kind of been moving this paint around a lot, you could add a little bit of flow. Add a little bit more paint here. Kind of touch it into your puddle. Ooh, I'm touching it. I got red all over it. That's okay. And that will help, like pull that paint down over that corner. Flow extender is what it's commonly called. Almost there. We got it. I like that dark corner, so I'm going to try to keep that dark black bronze color. There we go. So we've covered everything. So I'm going to just take a look at it here and See if there's anything else we want to do. Cool, so I'm just taking a look, assessing what we've got. I really love this side. This red section is really vibrant. I love that. I love this dark corner here. I love this more bronzish section. And then we have lots of red happening. So I love pretty much everything down here. I'm not thrilled with this shape though, the shape of this gold. Kind of looks like a funky crab or something. So I think I'm going to tilt maybe a little bit off of this section up here. I do like all this red, intense red, but I think I want to just alter the shape of this, like kind of the center of our pour there, but just modify it a little bit. So I'm gonna hold up the canvas. So all that paint is kind of on the far end now. I'm gonna just let it make its way back. I want to do that as even as possible so I don't get those big drips kind of running through there. So it's starting to move and change a little bit. Okay, I think I like that a lot better. So we tilted a little bit of this off, which I like having that gold overlap going over the side. I'm going to tilt back just a hair. And there we go. I quite like that. We could do some other things. I've got other ideas, but I love this big red path over here. This section I really like a lot. So we've changed that a little bit. I'm happier with it. Also the position, it's not so much kind of in the center, it's a little bit more over towards the third of our surface here. So we could do some other things. I'm tempted to just tilt off all of this red and have this be a gold corner. I think that might be interesting. So I'm going to just turn it around here. Take a look at it from a couple different angles. Yeah, I quite like that. So it's kind of this is a crazy color scheme. I mean, it's so vibrant and so bright. It might be difficult to see just how bright this is in the over the camera, but the Pyro red is such an intense red. I just love working with it. It's by far my favorite red to use, but it's accentuated by the darks and the darker reds. So by itself, it's just like this crazy bright red, but it really is accentuated with the dark values. So if you're going to work with it, black is great to work with, this dark red. So let's see. I think I'm going to tilt a little bit more. So let's go ahead and just see what happens. I think I'm going to like this better. So we're going to just tilt that red corner off. I'll show you in a second. Just changing the angles. Almost have it. Okay. Tilt it back down a little bit. And I'm just going to move that gold section into the painting a little bit more. Sorry about the crazy angles. Okay, so there we go. I think it looks better. So at least that's my opinion. We still have plenty of red in this painting. But those two corners were kind of bothering me. They were very similar with that big gold thing kind of in the center. I think this is a better composition. All right, so I think that's about it for this one. I think I'm going to call that complete, but I'm really happy with this kind of variation of this technique, the waterfall pour with the double cups and then changing the angles. I really like that a lot. So I think I'm going to be experimenting with that more often in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely better than the first painting that we covered up. So it's always great when you can get a better painting on top of a bad painting. So it doesn't always happen that way, but it's nice when it does. So let's see here. I'm going to just take a look at this. I do like it in this orientation, but just take a look at it the other way. Kind of like that too. So there we go. That is a really, really red painting. And let's see here. I'll tilt in. Monique wants to see a close-up. Absolutely. Let me tilt in a little bit. Or zoom in, I should say. Show you this far left corner. So that's kind of that big red section. There's not a lot of cells or anything in this one, but there's a lot of cool rings, those really compact rings. I quite like that a lot. So pretty happy with that one. That turned out pretty nice. So another great thing about this Pyrrole Red is it dries really nicely. So it remains, it keeps its intensity. And I'll zoom back, or I'll go to my other camera. I'll show you a dry painting. You can kind of see what a dry one looks like when you're using this Pyrrole Red. All right. So let me flip back here. Okay, so the painting right behind me is basically the same color scheme. It's the Pyro Red, the Crimson, Black, Gold, the Bronze, and you can see it keeps that intensity when it's dry. So it's a really great color to work with. I like working with it a lot. It's my favorite red, really the only red I like to use. I'm not a huge fan of red, but this red in particular is really great to paint with. So, any questions before we break? I hope you found it interesting and want to give it a try. Let's see if there's any. I'm going to just check and see if any questions came in. And Anna's asking, why can't you blow into that crab? Well, I could blow into it, but this paint is pretty thick, so you're not going to really get a very good, you're not going to get good shapes when you blow into thicker paint. You really need thin paint to get a beautiful kind of reaction, whether you're blowing with a straw or a hair dryer. Thicker paint is much harder to move around in a attractive way, anyway. Good question, though. And JMo's here. Hey, JMo, thanks for joining us. That's awesome. Cool. Let's see. All right, no other questions. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the demo. It's a trickier demo just because there's a lot of coordination involved. You could use a split cup and do relatively the same thing, basically the same thing. And you could change the direction of your split cup as well. It's a whole lot easier to do that. And you get a similar look, not quite exactly the same, but similar. And it's a whole lot easier. So, because you're only dealing with one cup, not two. So you could give that a shot if you wanted to try this out. So, all right. Well, thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend. If you liked the video, click the like button. That would be awesome. I'd appreciate it. And have a great weekend. Hope you paint. And I'll see you next week for another demo. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye-bye.